Hi, friends. I hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniela, and I'd like to welcome you to Visionary Thoughts. This is a place where you can come and hang out, feel inspired, and learn how to use your mind to live a life that is truly full of joy. No matter where you are in your journey, I am so happy that you're here and you are exactly where you need to be. I am your host, Daniela, and as always, I am so happy that you are here. I'm so happy that we are already at our fourth episode of Visionary Thought. I am beyond happy to be sharing this knowledge and wisdom that I have with you all, and I hope that it truly inspires you to make a change in your life. I've had a lot of fun crafting these episodes and receiving your feedback and engaging with you on social media. Again, thank you so much, and I'm so happy that you are here. Last week, we talked about perspective and how when we go through a perspective shift, we change the course of our life and transform ourselves. And today's episode is going to play right into that. Today, we are going to dive into the power of action, what it means to be ready, and how to move past the barriers that hold you back. As you all know, I love to start off with a gentle reminder, and today I invite you to open your heart and open your mind to the message that I will share with you today. I hope that you can let go of any tension or any stress or any doubt or any resistance. And for today's message, I invite you to listen with intention and have hope for the future, because know that this message has found you at the right time and you're in the perfect place. It is never too early or too late. You are exactly on time, exactly as you come, and exactly as you are. You need to hear this message because you are ready. Through it all, I hope you are gentle with yourself, because you are evolving and growing, and it can be painful sometimes because you're going through the growing pains. But know that you are growing and evolving, and it comes at the expense of comfort. And so I want you to also know that you're not alone. I am here with you, and I hope that today you can listen to this message and feel inspired. I want you to specifically note that you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to even have it all figured out to take the first step. You do not need all the answers in life. You just need the willingness to start. And I haven't mentioned any kind of specific task or thing. You know exactly what I am talking about. Where there is pain, that is where growth is happening. And growth is good for you. You are growing, you are learning, you are expanding, and it is good for you. Pain is not proof of weakness or failure. Pain is proof that you are evolving and you are growing. So please don't be too hard on yourself, because you deserve grace. The world is already so tough and harsh. You deserve some grace. This is a reminder to just trust yourself, to take the first step and let the path unfold as you go. You are definitely capable of more than you think, and once you start, you will begin to see the magic all around you. One thing that I truly want to emphasize again is that you don't have to have it all figured out. All you need is a dream and one measly ounce of courage to take the first step. Franz Kafka once said, "By believing passionately in something that still does not exist, we create it." Let that sink in, because your belief shapes your reality. And if you haven't listened to the previous episodes of Visionary Thoughts, I definitely invite you to do so, because we go over beliefs, we go over the past, perspective, and today's episode is going to be in addition to all of that. So if you haven't listened to those, I definitely recommend it. But if this is your first episode, welcome, and I hope you stay a while, because you are ready to hear this. I remember this one time very specifically while I was sitting in university. I was sitting in a philosophy lecture, and my professor started the class by saying, and he said, "Why do we do what we do when we know what we know?" And as I pondered on that for a moment, I came to the realization that there is so much that we do to ourselves in our lives, knowing better, knowing that if we put in a little bit more effort, maybe change our attitude a little bit, things can definitely go better for us. Why do we do what we do when we know what we know? How often do we hesitate when we know what is best for us? For example, We know that delaying any kind of chores or work will make us more stressed later, and yet we still put things off and scroll on our phones instead. I know I am definitely guilty of scrolling on my phone when the pile of laundry is sitting right next to me, staring right at me to get done and put away. And another example, we know that consistency leads to progress, right? But we still wait for motivation to kick in instead of just taking the action and taking that first step. Or we know that self-doubt holds us back, yet we still let fear stop us from going after opportunities, from even asking. Why do we do what we do when we know what we know? And if we know better, why do we hesitate to do what is right and in our best interest? I've thought about that so much, because I don't know why we convince ourselves that we are not ready, or we are not intelligent enough, or that we need to wait for the perfect moment. Throughout the course of my life, I have honestly gained enough life experience to know that there is no perfect moment. The perfect example for that is this podcast. I thought about, if you recall from my first episode, I thought about visionary thoughts back in 2020. It is just now come into existence. And I've learned that procrastination kills more dreams than failure ever will. And the perfect moment does not exist. Like, the perfect moment is not going to come. We are ready and we are equipped now. In case you haven't heard it yet, because this is something that I also have to hear, is that you will never feel 100% ready. If you are waiting for the moment, it's never going to come if you're waiting to feel 100% ready. Every moment that passes is another moment of delayed growth, another moment that is standing in your way. Right now, as you are ready and you are capable enough. The first step will always be the most challenging, because if you weren't ready yesterday, what will magically make you feel ready today? I don't know. But if you decide to act today, and if you tell yourself, ready or not, I'm doing this, then something shifts inside of you, because the more you act, the more your brain rewires itself. This is where you begin to form new habits that are aligning with the version of you that already exists in your highest potential. Readiness is an illusion. You will never feel 100% ready. You will never feel 100% capable. But in those moments, you already are. And the only thing standing between you and what you want to get done and what has to get done, yourself, your mind, you're blocking yourself. Your future self is not created by waiting. It is shaped by what you do in this moment. It is shaped by what you choose to do with your time that you have right now. Think about it. Every single person that you admire in your life, every success story you've ever heard, every great achievement that has ever been accomplished, all started with a moment where someone decided to take action, even through uncertainty, because they didn't wait until they felt fully prepared. They stepped into it with all the flaws and all. And let me tell you that there are people out there that are doing what you want to do. The only thing that they had was courage. You know, you probably have more credentials, more knowledge, more wisdom, and it is not acted upon. And the only thing that those people have that you don't is the courage to even begin. And the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't intelligence, it isn't luck, it isn't even talent. It's honestly just action, because they had the courage to do something. Meanwhile, you are capable, you are ready, you have the knowledge, you can talk about it, you can dream about it for days. But the only difference between you and those people is action. And it honestly takes courage to start, even when fear feels like this huge mountain that we have to climb, and fear whispers in your ear all the reasons why you shouldn't. You must prevail, and I hope that you do, because the truth is, nothing changes if nothing changes. It's way easier said than done, but it is the truth. Nothing changes if nothing changes. That is the law of the universe. That is physics. This is an absolute truth. If you keep on waiting for the perfect moment, I fear that you'll look back years from now and realize that you were always capable. You were always enough, but you let the hesitation win. So if you've been hesitating to try something, to do something that even must get done, like your laundry, your chores, cleaning your space, making your bed, this is your sign to start now. The time is now. You only ever have in your possession this moment. You do not have control over the past. What has come has already gone. You do not have control over what the future will bring, what other people will do to you, how they will treat you, how they will talk to you, what will happen. What you do have power over is what you do with your time in this moment. What you choose to do on a daily basis that alters and sets the trajectory of your life. This is your sign. I believe in you. This is the time, and the time is now, because now is all you've got. Step forward and take the risk. Start the thing. Speak up. Believe in yourself, because the only way that you become the person that you are meant to be is by acting like that person today. And I know what you're probably thinking, but Daniela, I feel stuck. I feel like it's way easier said than done. I know many people have told me this. It's way easier said than done. The reason why I have felt stuck is because I make the first step feel like this big, huge, life-altering, grandiose moment. And it just seems so big and so important and so life-changing that it almost paralyzes me, because you can feel like you have all of the infinite potential of the world, but you are too overwhelmed to start. I know I've overwhelmed myself. The first step seems so big. It doesn't even feel like a step. It feels like a leap. What I've come to terms with, that first step feels so big because I make it that big. And honestly, just based off of my studies and figuring out myself, I've learned that it's a trauma response, honestly, because I've been caught in this cycle of overthinking, overanalyze, overconsumption, overstimulation, and all of those things make me feel overwhelmed, and therefore they make the first step feel impossible. Like I cannot even bring myself to do it. That's how I felt in the past. And the best way for me to cut off the overthinking, the overanalyzing, and the overwhelming feeling is to bring myself back to the present moment. I've mentioned in previous episodes that the present moment is all that you've got, and this is the only place where you exist. Right here, right now, is all that is. Yesterday is gone. Don't even think about yesterday. And tomorrow, we don't know what that holds. Tomorrow also isn't promised, and your power lies in the moment. The steps that you have to take to get to where you want to get to is not a big, huge moment. They are by small and simple things do great things come to pass. Here's the best part. I hope that this inspires you to be hopeful, because you always have a choice. In life, we only have control over just a few things. We have control over our attitude, our effort, and our choices and our decisions. Those are the only things. Everything else and everyone else is out of our control. So why even worry about it? This is something that I know for a fact is way easier said than done. And I must say that it is a practice. Right now, you have the time to slow down, to figure things out, to really have a concrete answer to this question. Where do I want to go? And who do I want to be? And when you answer those questions, at least you have something concrete, and you can break it down all to one step, no matter how small. And I invite you to take that first step. Please, 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 whatever it may be, take the step, even though it is small. In that moment, you are transforming your life and you are changing the course of your life. Do not worry about how things will happen, because you have no control over how they will happen either. You only have control over your attitude, your effort, your choices, and your decisions. And that is it. How things come to pass are none of your business. Leave that up to the universe. Leave that up to God. Leave that up to the magic. Just have the dream and take the first step. Leave the how up to God. Trust me, your life is going to change the moment you realize that you have options. It may feel like everything is out of your power and everything is out of your control, when really it is not. What's in your control is you and how you feel in the moment and what you do about that. Because let me tell you one thing, that you are worthy of a beautiful life and a life where you can feel peace. And you deserve to feel joy and success and freedom, and you are capable of creating it. Don't worry about how it will come. Just worry about taking that first step and letting your faith guide you the rest of the way. In these moments, what's most important is not what's happening from the outside in, it's what's happening from the inside out. You must change your inside to change the outside. You must change. We have to rewrite your inner narrative, what you tell yourself and how you speak to yourself, because the words that you repeat in your mind become the blueprint of your reality. So if you keep telling yourself, I'm not ready, I'm gonna fail, I'm not smart enough, I'm not capable enough, you know what? Your brain will believe it. Your brain will believe it even if it's not the truth, because you kind of gaslight yourself into believing these things negatively about yourself. Have you ever stopped to listen to the way you speak to yourself? Even if it's in a joking matter, do not make jokes at your own expense. If you keep telling yourself these negative things and making jokes at your expense, your brain will believe it. Your brain does not know the difference between a joke and what your inner monologue is. So if you say that you're miserable, that you're chronically online, that you're chronically mentally ill, if you tell yourself those things, your brain will believe it and your life will reflect it. And it's not because it's true, it's because your brain is like a computer and you have programmed yourself to think that way. Therefore, I've honestly come to learn this because my first year of college, I was alone in a new state, in a new place, in a new climate. I went from Texas all the way to Idaho and I was by myself and I was alone and I felt so sad. I felt depressed. I felt like I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, when in reality I really wasn't. But I coaxed my brain into believing that. Therefore, my brain created this reality where I didn't get along with my roommates, I didn't have any friends, and I almost had no ambition to continue going to class because I was in Idaho and I was sad, and it was my first time really seeing snow, and it was always dark outside and it was always gray, and it just felt like such a depressive environment. But what really made it more depressing is how I thought about it. And when I came to that realization, I changed my thinking and I changed myself and I rewired my brain to change my reality. And you know what? Instead of calling it a mental breakdown, I called it a mental breakthrough. And that's exactly what happened. I changed my thinking, therefore, I changed my life. And when I went back to school, a place where I thought that I was depressed, I was sad, I hated the cold, I hated my roommates, I didn't understand my classes, where I had all these negative feelings, I had to go back and rewire my brain and tell it like, no, I am smart and I am capable and I make friends and I have great friends and my roommates are awesome and they love me and I love them and I trust them to sleep right next to me. And that is what my reality reflected as soon as I changed my mind. The thing that is so miraculous about this is that the climate didn't change. It was still cold, it was still snowing. My classes didn't change. If anything, I think they got even more difficult, but I embraced the difficulty. And so my roommates, they were the same girls, but something changed. And it wasn't that they changed, it wasn't the climate that changed, it was me. What changed in that whole situation was me. And so when I went back, I had the best time ever. I was playing in the snow, I was taking pictures in the snow. I thought the snow was beautiful, and I was able to look at the details and look at how actually snowflakes form. And they're these little minuscule, beautiful little crystals of ice, and they just looked so beautiful to me, and I was able to embrace that. It's not the first time that a snowflake existed, it was just me. I changed and I saw it and I chose to see the beauty in it. And so when we change our inner monologue and the way we speak with ourselves, this is where you honestly begin to transform your life. What if instead you started talking to yourself positively with grace and with understanding. And you started telling yourself that you are capable and you are learning and you are becoming, because the story that we tell ourselves shape the way we move through our life. They affect the choices that we make and the things that we do and how we do them. And when we shift our inner monologue, our inner dialogue, you will begin to see the evidence of growth everywhere, because it's not your surroundings that are changing or your environment. It's you. You're not stuck. You're not stuck. You feel like you're stuck when in reality you are not. You are caught in a loop of old thoughts that no longer serve you, and you are almost being held hostage by your own mind. But who's in charge here? You or your mind? It takes a little bit to truly change your mind and to change the story, because it's a practice. Because what happens when you break a routine of negatively self-talking to yourself? You know, there's going to be some resistance. There's going to be some imposter syndrome. There's going to be resistance for sure. Once you start to change the story, you change your outcome and you change your life. When you feel overwhelmed, I invite you to please remind yourself that you don't have to see the entire path. We as human beings have been gifted the gift of vision, and vision is to be able to see the outcome before you've even achieved it. You don't need to know every single step of the path of where you want to get to. All you have to have is a dream. That's all you have to see. All you have to see is who you want to be and what will come of you at the end of the journey. You don't have to see the entire path. All you have to know is what step you should first take and what you want the outcome to be. You want to be a better person. You want to be a better speaker. You want to do better at your job. You want to strive for a promotion. Don't worry about the how, just worry about the things that you do have control over. Worry about your attitude, your effort, your choices, and make decisions accordingly. Because all you have to do right now is have the dream and take the first step, because big dreams are not accomplished overnight. Ask any overnight success how long the overnight success actually took. Many people will say it's years and years of small and consistent action, because motivation is a feeling and feelings are very inconsistent. You are not going to feel consistently motivated every single day, every single time. This is where your discipline comes. You want it so bad, so you act like it. If you want to start a new habit, make it so easy that you can't talk yourself out of it. Like, you want the outcome so bad, please act like it. Please just take the small and simple steps, and it all starts with doing the things that you say you're gonna do. I had the goal of writing in my journal every single day for 1 full year, and I made this goal to myself when I was like about 14 or 15 years old. And back here in my bookshelf, I have a journal where I wrote every single day for a full year. And I set a goal for myself. I said to myself at that time, I am going to write 1 sentence every single day. There are days where I wrote pages, and there are days where I wrote the bare minimum 1 sentence. And it's only by these small and simple steps that I was able to achieve this goal. And start small. Like I said, it's just 1 small step that can take you closer than inaction. If you want to get healthier, start with a 5-minute walk. If you want to build confidence, keep a promise to yourself. Even if it's as small as drinking 4 ounces of water in the morning. Keeping these promises to yourself is going to build confidence and is going to build up your integrity. Because if you cannot keep promises to yourself, but you can keep promises to others, like you are the one that's lying in the back burner, integrity is a must. And I promise you that if you take 1 small, simple step on a daily basis, you will invite miracles into your life. Success isn't about taking these massive leaps overnight. You're not going to be an overnight success. You cannot handle that yet. But what you can handle is showing up for yourself again and again and again, and taking a small step until that small step becomes your habit, and then you you can start building upon that habit. One action at a time, you are building the life that you want. So keep going. Once you do that, and that becomes a habit, then your habits become your actions, and your actions on a daily basis become the days of your life. The key to everything you want is simple. It's just action. It's just taking the step. And the step may feel like a leap, but take the step. Because the key to everything you want in life, everything you want, is action. And I will say, my English professor in university, she was very passionate about literature and about reading and about writing. And she said, the bad writing that you do today is better than the good writing that you didn't do at all. So many of us fall into the trap of waiting until you're smarter, waiting until you're fitter, until you have more money, until you have more confidence, until you have more experience. But the truth is that confidence comes from doing. Each and every step that you take, although the first one is probably the hardest one you have to do, because this is where you have to overcome yourself. The more you do it, the less scary it's going to feel. It honestly plays right into rejection therapy. The more rejected you get, the less it hurts. The clarity comes from action, because in life, you're never gonna feel fully ready. You're never gonna feel like you have enough money, like you have enough time, like you have enough effort, like you have enough energy. You're never going to feel fully ready, and that's okay. All you need is a mustard seed of confidence, a mustard seed of courage to start where you are. And this is your invitation to start where you are. Start it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Start messy, start scared, start terrified, but just start. Take the first step, even if it's the scariest thing. The worst that can happen is you stay in the same place. That's it. You stay exactly where you're supposed to be. It's nothing that you're not used to. It's not something that you're not comfortable with. The worst that can happen is you stay the same. The best that can happen is, I can't even begin to describe what's the best that can happen, because it's going to be miraculous. It's going to be marvelous. It's going to be bigger and better and more bright than you could ever imagine. So, my invitation for you today is to ponder on this one thing. And what is one thing that you can do today? Perhaps one thing that you can do right now that brings you closer to your goal. If your goal is to read 10 books this year, start with reading one paragraph, start with reading one page. You owe it to yourself. I believe in you so much that please do it. Please, you owe it to yourself, because what I don't want is you live your life and you live it scared, and a couple years down the road you look back at these times and you feel regret. I believe that the worst feeling a human being can feel is regret and hopelessness. The fear that you feel now is not even compared to the glory and the happiness and the joy that you will feel when you take the first step, or when you've accomplished your goal by doing small and simple actions. You only have one life. And I will mention this in every single episode, because I want this to be engraved in your brain, that you only have one life, and this life is for you to live, and you are meant to find joy, and you are so capable and worthy of happiness and of achieving that goal that you're thinking about. Whether it's a leap of faith or a small, gentle step towards it, you have the power within you right now. If you have a body, if you have the ability to do it, you must do it. You must, because there are people out there that are lying on their deathbeds, thinking and pondering on the regret of not taking that action, of not living their dreams. Right now, you're capable of doing it. You don't want to get to the point in your life where the opportunity has come and gone and there's only regret. And so I please invite you to take that first step, because this will change your life. And if it doesn't, it cannot get worse than this moment that you're in right now. In that same philosophy class that I was enrolled in, that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, my professor was full of really good sayings and really good quotes. And he said one time that time is everything we have and don't. Time is everything we have and don't. You have enough time to take control of whatever is within your control. How you spend your time, your attitude, your effort, your choices, your decisions. But remember that time waits for no one. Every moment that passes comes and goes, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. Years and years and years will come and go. But what you have within your grasp in this moment is this moment where you can choose, and you have the ability to choose, and that will lead you to the life that you desire and the person that you desire to become. We only have one life. As time comes and goes, I invite you to be intentional with it. Let your time be a reflection of your dreams and not of your doubts, because you are never too late or too early or inadequate or incapable. Where you are now is the perfect place to start laying down those building blocks, brick by brick, layer by layer, a little bit here and a little bit there. I always say that, you might not be where you want to be, but at least you're not where you used to be. And there is hope in that sentiment. Each and every day that passes and each and every step that you take brings you closer and closer to that. Progress is progress, no matter how small. When you get to your destination, you will see that it is bigger and better and brighter than you could have ever even imagined. And life is not about getting to the destination, it's about who you become on your journey there. Your journey, it will challenge you, and it's not going to be easy, but I can definitely say that it's going to be worth it, and take the steps while you have the opportunity to do so. I always want to leave you with an invitation. This week, I invite you to sit down with yourself in a safe space and actually write down with a pen and a paper, write down where you want to be, where you want to go, and write down your heart's deepest desires, no matter how old or young you are. And then once you've written that down, write down the feelings that you will feel when you get there and break it down. And remember, you don't have to share this with anybody. No one has to read it. It is for you and for your eyes only. Don't just think about it. Don't think about this invitation. Please bring it to life. Bring it to your existence, and seeing it in real life, it changes you. You put it down on paper and you see how real it gets. Because in that moment, it's not only a thought or a goal or an ambition. Now it's written down and you see it, and it becomes real. And when you write all that stuff down, when you write down where you want to be, where you want to go, who you want to become, and how you will feel when you get there, trust me, it will change your life. I believe that you will know what you have to do. I do want you to commit to it. Say it out loud, write it down, and take action. Take the small step, or take the full leap, because the only way for you to move forward is through. And it might feel impossible in the moment. I know how you will feel in that moment. It's gonna feel impossible. It might feel silly. It might feel like you're just fooling yourself. Like, who are you kidding yourself? You're gonna feel that. Trust me, because I felt it with this podcast. But the more I do it, the less scary it becomes, and the more inspired I become. And I am changed after each and every episode. Even though it will feel impossible and it will feel weird and it will feel silly, trust me that it is working, and this is the process of growth. I want to continue to reiterate that you deserve that goal and that dream that you write down on paper. You deserve it, and you are worthy of it, because no dream is too big and no action is too small. As always, I thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I really hope that this message resonated with you, and I hope that you choose to act upon the invitation this week. And if you felt inspired by this episode, I hope you share it with someone that needs to hear it. Maybe there's someone in your life that needs a little bit more encouragement or needs a little bit of hope. And I hope that you share this message with them. Again, I am your host, Daniela, and I thank you so much for tuning into Visionary Thoughts this week. Please join me next week and every single week where we will continue to break down these concepts, continue to evolve our mind and our brain and ourselves to live a life full of joy and to become the best people we can become. You can listen and watch any previous episodes of Visionary Thoughts on anywhere you stream podcasts, as well as in video format on Spotify and YouTube. You can always follow Visionary Thoughts Pod and myself at Life of Danny on social media for any day-to-day updates and more inspiration. And as always, I want to hear from you. I truly do want to hear from you. Send me your thoughts, send me your impressions, please. I've had people reach out to me because of the previous episodes, and it honestly brings me to tears because I am so happy to hear from you and to hear your thoughts about the episode and what you drew from it or how you felt while you were listening to it. Please send me your messages, leave your impressions, leave comments down below because I am here for you. And I hope that we can build a community where I'm here for you, you're here for me, and you all are there for each other. And I just hope that we can get to that point someday. I definitely believe it will come. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have a great day today. Please act upon that invitation, and I will see you next week. And until next time, I hope you keep believing yourself because I believe in you. And together, we can make all our thoughts visionary thoughts. Thank you.